Hello peeps, sorry there's a bit of a delay on today's review. I've been going for a bit of a rage phase. I've had to cool off a little bit. So as you gathered by that horrific pun intro, yes, we have got the Rage Phase pre-workout to review today. I've used this one a good 3 or 4 times, I'm enjoying it, hence why I keep going back to it and wanting to use it even more so. But the spoilers end right there because you have to stick around as we cover the usuals, the taste, the price, the label and the effects. Will it ultimately be worth picking up? It's quite a clean, simple looking pre-workout. It's not mucking around though. But if you're new here, hit the like button, hit the sub button, hit the bell icon, all the usuals. Now let's move into tasty time. So, taste the mixability, and we've got the pleasure of trying sour cherry flavour right there. But mixability wise, I have given it the usual glass test. It's in a shaker today because I'm on the move. And the mixability has stayed consistently good every time. So, and it's not a slouch either. It's a big 26 gram serving amount. So yeah, above average on the mixability front, all things considered. So let's let you know how it tastes. It tastes accurate. Surprise, surprise. It tastes like a sour cherry. Who'd have thought it? I guess ultimately, it's going to come down to how much you enjoy cherries. It is a good sour cherry flavour. It's not too overbearing. It's a sour cherry, but it doesn't make you go, ugh, when you drink it, which I personally like, you know. I think there's sweet spots to everything in life, and they seem to have nailed it here. There's no nastiness coming through. It tastes accurate. You know, what more do you want? I'd be happy to give it a 9 out of 10 on the flavouring front. It's actually more towards the delicious side of the spectrum. So yeah, you will not struggle, hopefully. Let's get this show on the road, shall we? Is that all nice for you guys? Let's check the mic's rolling. Yep, testing 1, 2, 3. Hopefully you guys have got a nice little backdrop there. I don't know how much that's going to pick up, but probably doesn't look that good. But anyway, so if you want to pick this up based on today's review and it sounds right for you personally, head over to ragephase.co.uk where you'll find this 20/40 serving tub on there. Bear in mind, it's 20 servings if you want to go full attack mode, you know, if you want to take the full 26 gram serving amount. And as you know, for consistency's sake, we always do that. So we're going to be running with the 2 scoops, the full serving, and assuming, you know, it's 20 servings instead of 40. So the standard price for this pre-workout is £35.95. However, for the month of June, you can use code JUNE and you can pick this tub up for only £26.95. Sounds more enticing, right? Straight away, you've got almost a tenner off the standard price. That would work out as only £1.35 per the serving, and that would actually come in on our consistent price scale that measures how expensive pre-workouts are, where a 5 out of 10 is a bang average price point. This comes in at a 6.5 out of 10, so it's actually priced a decent amount better than the average price point on the market as we have deemed it so. And I will say, without giving away too much just yet, it's a stacked pre-workout, so you know, it's fantastic that you can get it for a cheaper than average price. Obviously it's not going to be June forever, so if you're watching this review after June 2025 or just want to purchase it maybe next month, the month after, any time down the line, we have managed to gain a 10% discount code from these guys. So it's RB10, 10% off. That's going to knock the price of the tub down to £32.36 or £1.62 per the serving. If you missed the June deal, this is of course. And that comes in at a 5 out of 10 on our price scale. So that actually comes in bang average price point. And again, it's a more stacked than average pre-workout. So, you know, if we're getting much better than average effects, then we're laughing all the way to the bank. So yeah. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to just say is that these guys do offer free samples. So all you've got to do is pay for the little amount for the shipping and you get the sample itself for free. So Even if you watch this review and you say, look, I like what you're saying, but I don't, you know, I kind of want to try it myself first. I'm not going to trust you. Then yeah, try out the sample thing. See if you like it. If you like it as well, then freaking go ahead and buy it. What are you waiting for? But anyway, let's move on to the label, because this thing's starting to kick in and I do not want to miss that window to attack. So I'll be heading into the gym very shortly. It's label time. So we got ourselves 26 gram serving amount, as I've already mentioned. Guys, are we getting ourselves golden hour right now? It's actually coming in kind of nice, except the sun's behind me, so I'm actually not benefiting from any of this. Maybe I should have parked the car the other way, come to think of it. I'm going to try and move it. I bet the camera falls over straight away. It's like the egg and spoon race, except it's called the tripod move your car race. If you didn't guess, yes, you are on a tripod. I just realised this probably doesn't actually make sense, because now I'm going to be squinting. Actually, that's worked out pretty damn good, because the sun is right in the pillar of my car. Anyway, enough faffing around. Let's get down to brass tacks, shall we? 2 scoops is going to get us the following. Caffeine anhydrous, 250 milligrams, which is a really nice dose. That is, on the caffeine alone so far, I know there's more coming up, but the average caffeine amount in pre's is normally about 350. So just on this standard caffeine so far, we're looking at about 100 under the normal. So yeah, it's about almost 2 energy drinks worth of caffeine. You know, the more moderate energy drinks like your Red Bull Monsters sort of scenario. Or it's a few instant cups of coffee. But in any case, it's definitely enough to wake you up and get you moving. So yeah, main stimulant in any pre-workout you're going to see. Following up, we have decaffeine malate. I just realised that this label's interesting, because it's listing the smaller ingredients above the heftier ones. Interesting. But anyway, decaffeine malate, 130 milligrams. Now, you normally yield 75 milligrams of that as actual caffeine. So what would that be, around the 100 milligram mark, which is, yes, then that's bumping us more up into the average caffeine of pre-workouts on the market today. So decaffeine malate, you ask, for you newbies that don't know what that is, or if you've just forgotten, it's a slower digestion form of caffeine. So when the caffeine anhydrous starts to wean off towards the end of your gym session, the malate is going to start to rear its head and say, hello, you're not crashing off, you're not dying off, I'm going to come in and give you a little bit more energy to see you through to the end of your gym session. And I like that they've put it in here at a hefty dose as well, because so many companies put it in there at a pitiful dose, like 20 or 30 milligrams, or around that ballpark, and you just think, what's the point? What is the point at that point? Because you're not even going to really feel anything. You're going to be getting, what, like 10 milligrams of caffeine at the end of your session, like, oh, yippee, great. So these guys are doing it right, I do like that. So yeah, it's a slower acting form of caffeine that's going to come in later and prevent any kind of crash. Next up, we've got L-citrulline at 8 grams, which is a really solid dose. I would say that's actually twice the, yeah, I would say that's almost twice the normal. 4 grams is sort of around the lowest end of what you'd need to get the job done, the 3-4 gram mark. So we're looking at double here. And again, I'm just going to insert this here. This might be another scenario where you can use this pre on the 1 scoop, on the half serving, and still get decent dosages. You'll obviously see that for yourself as we carry on moving through it. So anyway, back on track. L-citrulline, 8 grams, fantastic dose. Most people are absolutely fine with 6. So yeah, it's an amino acid, going to bump up nitric oxide levels, increase in your blood flow and pump and nutrient delivery, all the good stuff that we want. It's a very proven, effective pump ingredient. Sometimes you just need the bread and butter basics, don't you? And then we've got L-tyrosine, and this is a standout dose, I'll admit. 5 grams, guys. That's insane, to be fair. You normally only see 1 or 2 grams. So, again, mega dosages. That is going to help with your focus, concentration, and mood. And it's particularly good when it's paired with stimulants, as it is here. Then we've got beta-alanine at 3.5 grams. Really nice dose. We normally only see or like to see 3.2 as a minimum daily intake. So they've gone above and beyond a little bit here. Another amino acid gives that itchy tingly sensation when it kicks in, and it helps with your endurance when you take it for long enough and build it up in your system. It helps to buffer lactic acid. So yeah, it's going to help you to get an extra rep or two here or there, hopefully. Then we've got malic acid, 2 grams. This is normally lumped in, on the label at least, with the citrulline, but they've broken it down separately here. Always like that, an extra bit of transparency. It just helps a bit with endurance, putting it bluntly. Then we've got CDP choline at 800 milligrams, which is a really solid dose, like seriously solid, and it's a fantastic form of a choline donor. So it's going to help to increase your acetylcholine levels in the brain, which is going to lead to increased focus, concentration, and athletic performance in the gym. And then we've got L-theanine green tea, 200 milligrams. Now, some people might frown or, you know, do some other negative expression at this ingredient, because it's often seen in sleep aids, because it helps to calm you down, chill you out, and put you in a sleepy kind of mood, I suppose. But when it's paired with stimulants, it channels it more into a focus mode rather than sleepy town. And that's obviously what we've got here. We've got the caffeine and another nootropic. So it has legit been shown in studies to do that. So, and I do like that ratio, the L-theanine against the caffeine. I think that's a nice little ratio there. It's almost like a 2 to 1. You know, we've got 350 caffeine against 200 L-theanine. So I personally think that's fine. It's when the L-theanine starts to out-angle the caffeine, aka be a lot higher than the caffeine, that you get a little bit concerned, because then you start to think, hang on a minute, what are we doing here? But yeah, so the L-theanine's in here with the stimulants. It's going to channel it more into a calming focus, keep you dialed in, put a blanket over any potential jitters that the caffeine and other stims might give you. So yeah, it just, it's like a scope to your rifle, is the best analogy we've ever said for it. And then we wrap off with huperzine A, 300 micrograms. Again, very solid dose. It's the learning chemical. It's going to help you with your focus and concentration and memory. Pair up with the other nootropics and the stimulants to help you get locked into your gym session. And that is the label, guys. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I personally think that label is pretty damn stellar, especially for the price point. Especially if you get it on the June deal. Okay, guys, I'm done all the filming I can do right now. I might just get a little cheeky thumbnail picture before I go in. But yeah, I reckon I took it about maybe 25 minutes ago. So the beta tingles are starting to come in. You know, I'm feeling some background tingly effect. But I won't spoil too much, because I'm going to leave the bulk of the effects to after my gym session. Even though, like I say, I have used this one at least 3 or 4 times at this point. But yeah, stay tuned and all shall be revealed. There she is. Hello peeps, it's now officially dark out because it is, I think it's about 9:45-ish. Just finished a nice juicy chest and tricep session on it. Did it have me raging? Actually, no, I was happy because it was a good pre-workout. If it was a bad pre-workout, I might have been raging. Right, so let's get into it, all silly jokes aside. The beta-alanine is normally the first thing we discuss because it's normally the first thing you feel. How did we feel it in this one? Me personally, at least, I didn't actually feel it that strong, which could be a positive or a negative, depending on, you know, if you like the ingredient, if you like that itchy, tingly, uncomfortable type feeling. We personally generally like it because it sets the tone for that, you know, let's get cracking, a sense of urgency. But in this one, it actually didn't come in overly strong. I would say a 4 or a 5 out of 10 on the tingle scale, so manageable, but at the same time, you know, it's in there. So if you like it, you're getting a few tingles. If you don't like it, it's not overbearing. So actually, it's in the, you know, it's in that sweet spot where I think that both sides of the coin, both sides of people would be okay with it. So yeah, beta-alanine, done. In terms of the energy, you definitely feel it come in after about 30 to 40 minutes. Do not get me wrong, it's a nice smooth energy. It doesn't blow your socks off by any stretch whatsoever, as you might have gleaned from the label. It definitely is a daily driver type product. I worked out the maths, it's just shy of 350 milligrams, which we deem within, according to our own preferences. You know, this isn't, we're not talking for everyone, mainly for ourselves. We personally say anything sub 400 caffeine is okay to take as a daily driver. You know, maybe not literally every day without fail, but more days than not. You know, if you're training most days of the week, you'd be fine with that. Obviously, we always recommend everyone take a stim break for you know, a week or two every handful of months. You know, it doesn't hurt anyone to reset your adrenal glands. Anyways, I'm going off on a bit of a side tangent there. let's get back on track with the pre-workout, shall we? So obviously the caffeine itself is the only stimulant in here. You've got the fast acting and the slow acting caffeine, and they complement each other nicely. I didn't have any kind of crash any time I've used this. It was ample energy for the gym session. It lasts up to about 2 hours-ish, and then it leaves you smoothly on the back end. So yeah, like I say, no jitters, no crash, no nastiness. And I do think the L-theanine comes in nicely in conjunction with those caffeine sources to smooth out and prolong that level of energy, alertness and focus to see you through to the end of the gym session. So if you are someone that's really concerned about crashing on pre-workouts, this one is absolutely a safe bet where that standpoint is. If you're someone that's concerned about failing drug tests or your pre-workout being dodgy or whatnot, again, you'd be fine with this one. So from an energy standpoint, absolutely ample. I would say, yep, straight up falls into the daily driver realm. It's not, yeah, I just think it's in that sweet spot. It's not too strong, it's not too weak. So perfect. Focus, this is where we're stepping up a little bit, because I would say, as with all daily drivers, energy is kind of middling. You know, it's not weak by any stretch, but it's definitely not what I would class as a strong pre-workout. The focus, like I say, this is where we step up a little bit, and I would say the focus is actually quite a bit above your average pre-workout. I mean, you guys have seen the label, it's stacked. The L-tyrosine is a laughably high dose, to say the least. So yeah, the focus is a standout feature in this pre-workout for me. Arguably the best feature of the pre-workout, which you could also argue is probably the most important feature of a pre-workout. If you're someone that is easily distracted or easily taken off the ball or taken out of the zone in your gym sessions, this will keep you locked in. It kept me locked in. I was dialed into the gym session. I felt the mind to muscle connection. There was no distractions. My music sounded good. The weights felt good. I felt strong. Endurance was decent the whole way through the gym session. So yeah, the focus feels healthy and productive. There's an element of mood elevation there when you take it. You just feel like you've got a nice, clean, healthy pre-workout in your system. There's no illicit element to it, so you're not floating around off your head, you know, visiting euphoric town or anything crazy like that. So it's not a muck around jokey pre. It's not a crazy one. So yeah, the focus, solid. Definitely even better than the energy, which, like you say, you'd expect in a daily driver pre-workout. That leaves us with the final element of the pre-workout, and that is the pumps, which are being carried primarily by one ingredient, really, which is that L-citrulline. I had to look on the label then because I forget it's lower down than the caffeine. The L-citrulline at 8 grams. You know, let's be real, that pretty much is the only pump ingredient in here, but because it's at a very good dose, I do think it does, you know, obviously it does a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of getting you that pump. It's the main needle mover. So yeah, it's not stacked in the form of, not got a whole laundry list of different NO boosters and hyperhydration type ingredient. So it is more like a vascular deep granity pump rather than a swell you up Michelin Man style pump that you'd get from things like betaine anhydrous, taurine, glycerol and the like. None of which are in here, by the way. So if you are someone that really chases that Michelin Man, you know, balloon style pump, then there are better pre-workouts for that specific element if you want that muscular hydration factor in your pre-workouts. But if you're just after a gnarly deep contractional vascular style pump, this has got you covered. Yeah, it is ticking all the boxes. Some boxes being ticked more heavily than others, but still, it is ticking all the boxes nonetheless. I would say it's 100% worth the price point, especially on the June deal. Even when June's been and gone, I still think it's more than worth the price point using our discount code, getting that 10% off, because that does make it fall bang on the average price point. And as you guys have seen and heard, the label, the real world effects, it is a better than average pre-workout by a substantial margin. So paying an average price point for a much better than average pre-workout seems like a no-brainer for me. And as I say, if you can get it on that ultra cheap price with the June deal, the discount code, you are absolutely laughing. So yeah, like I said, no negatives, ticks all the boxes, doesn't suppress my appetite, doesn't keep me up all night, doesn't mess me up, crash me off, give me jitters, no nastiness associated with this one. So yes, if I was to recommend these guys do absolutely anything, you know, if I'm to forget about the price element and I'm just to think solely on the label, changes I would make, I would leave the focus alone, I think that's perfect. I would leave the energy alone, I think that's perfect. If I'm to be ultra nitpicky, you know, if I'm to just make it my own pre-workout, I would chuck in, just for the sake of it, a few osmolytic type pump ingredients, as I've already mentioned earlier on, and for the hell of it, maybe one more nitric oxide boosting ingredient if you really want to be cheeky. But as I say, I'm clutching at straws. I'm really nitpicking saying that. I think it's a fantastic pre-workout as it is. I don't think you'd have any regrets if you picked it up. I think it's a fantastic daily. I think it's, yeah, I mean, I'm going to personally keep using it, so, you know, that should speak volumes enough. So yeah, guys, I think that does cover it all. Let me know if I've missed anything down below in the comments or anything else you want to know, all the usuals. And as always, stay stimmed, raging style. But seriously, see you later, guys. Catch you on the next one.